Hey everyone, before we dive into this story, please consider subscribing to my channel for more heartfelt content like this. It means the world to me. I swear it felt like the universe was collapsing when they rushed her into the ICU. My little girl, Daisy, only 6, was tangled in a web of wires, her tiny frame nearly lost beneath a maze of tubes and machines that wailed like sirens in my head. Just moments before, we'd been cruising down the road, belting out Taylor Swift songs, her voice a bubbly, off-pitch melody. Then, out of nowhere, an SUV barreled through a red light, smashing into my car and crushing Daisy's small body. I didn't even see it coming. There wasn't time to scream. Now, her hair was sticky with blood, a tattered teddy bear gripped in her hand, its stuffing spilling out like a fresh wound. I sat in that cold, sterile hospital chair, frozen, trembling, whispering prayers to a God I wasn't sure I trusted, pleading for her to open her eyes. Then my phone vibrated. A text from Mom. I hoped she'd ask about Daisy, maybe say she was on her way. Instead, bring cupcakes for your niece's school party tomorrow. I stared at the words, disbelieving, reading them over and over. My fingers stiff as ice typed back, Mom, I can't. Daisy's in the hospital on life support. Another buzz. Mom's reply, so nonchalant it carved a new wound in my heart. You always make everything about your drama. Drama? My daughter was fighting to survive. Then my sister texted, stop overreacting. Kids get hurt all the time. It felt like a blade twisting in my chest. And Dad's words cut deepest. Your niece's party matters more than your attention-grabbing stunts. We're done with you. I couldn't breathe. I glanced up from those cruel messages to Daisy's fragile form. They didn't see her. They didn't see me. They never had. To them, I was just the errand runner, the emotional punching bag, the substitute mom for their kids. My phone buzzed again, but before I could check it, the door to Daisy's room swung open. The doctor stepped in, his face serious, his voice heavy. Your mom, he started, and my already shattered world found a new way to crack. He moved closer, closing the glass door behind him. The steady beep of Daisy's monitors was the only thing keeping me from screaming into the silence. His gaze flicked to my phone, still glowing with Dad's venom, then back to me with a softness that felt almost like kindness. Your mom's in the waiting room, he said cautiously. She's insisting on seeing you. A bitter, hollow laugh scraped my throat. Insisting? Of course she was. It was always about her demands. Is Daisy stable? I asked, my voice trembling so much I could barely speak. He nodded. For now. We'll monitor her through the night. I shut my eyes, clinging to that tiny shred of hope in a sea of fear. Then, every muscle aching, I stood and walked to the waiting area. There she was, Mom, in her pristine designer coat, hair styled like she was heading to a fancy lunch, tapping her foot with impatient annoyance. No tears, no worry, just that familiar scowl I'd known since childhood. When she saw me, her lips curled in disdain. Finally, she snapped. Did you get my text? I was so stunned I couldn't speak. The world tilted, the ground unsteady beneath me. Mom, I whispered, Daisy's on life support. She might not make it. She didn't even blink. And your niece has a school party tomorrow, she shot back, her tone sharp, like I'd neglected a simple task. If you don't bring those cupcakes, you'll embarrass us all. Something inside me shattered then, something fragile and foolish that had tied me to them for so long. Before I could respond, my sister appeared, arms folded, rolling her eyes like a petulant teen. Can you stop making everything about you for once, she spat. Kids get scrapes all the time. Daisy will be fine. But what about Madison's party? You promised to help. I looked at them. My mother, my sister, the women who were supposed to be my family, my strength. All they saw was a servant who'd failed their script. And in that moment, everything shifted. As terrified as I was of losing Daisy, I realized I'd already lost them. And maybe that was a blessing. My hand shook so hard I gripped a chair to stay upright. They stood there, Mom's lips a tight line of contempt, my sister scrolling her phone like this was a tedious argument. Something in me hardened. You want cupcakes, I said slowly. While my daughter fights for her life, Mom's jaw twitched, a flicker of irritation breaking her polished facade. Daisy will be fine, she snapped. You always blow things out of proportion. You thrive on drama. Madison's party matters. She deserves a normal day. Normal. As if my daughter lying unconscious, tubes in her throat, was a minor inconvenience. Mom, I said, my voice barely audible. I'm not bringing cupcakes. I'm not leaving this hospital. My sister scoffed, loud enough to draw stares. There you go, making it all about you. Why can't you just help? You're so selfish. That word, selfish, shattered something deep inside me, like glass breaking against my bones. I'd been their everything since I was a child. Babysitter, mediator, stand-in mom, free therapist. Yet, even with my daughter clinging to life, they saw me as nothing but a tool. No, I said, my voice steady with finality. I'm done. Mom's eyes widened, like a spoiled child denied a treat. What's that supposed to mean? She hissed. I met her gaze, a calm settling over me. It means I'm not your convenience anymore. Not your substitute mom, not your maid, not your bank. I'm Daisy's mother, and she comes first. Her lips quivered, rage flashing in her eyes. After all we've done for you, this is how you repay us? I laughed raw and empty. All you've done? You've done nothing but take. My mind flashed to every time they'd left me to fend for myself, dumped their kids on me, called me worthless unless I served them. You've never given me anything, I said, and you'll never use me again. Before they could spit more venom, I turned and walked back to Daisy's room, the door closing behind me with the weight of a lifetime of shut doors. I chose my daughter. I chose myself. No regrets. Daisy's monitors beeped steadily, grounding me. I stepped to her bedside, brushing a stray wisp of hair from her pale forehead. Her skin looked almost translucent. I tucked her worn teddy bear back into her arm, its stuffing still peeking out. Their words echoed, selfish, dramatic, ruining everything. No. I looked at Daisy, my perfect girl who'd done nothing wrong except trust me to keep her safe. I knew what I was fighting for. Her and me. A nurse, Nia, entered, her touch gentle as she checked Daisy's lines. Her hand rested on my shoulder, warm with real care, the kind I'd crave for my family, but never found. She's holding steady, Nia said softly. We're doing everything we can. I nodded, blinking back tears. Thank you, I whispered. She hesitated, then leaned closer. Family can be hard, she murmured. I overheard some of what happened out there. Don't let them break you. Gratitude stung my eyes, sharp and raw. Thank you, I said again, my voice breaking. Alone again, I sat, breathing with Daisy's machine-assisted rhythm. I scrolled through their messages. Your sister's heartbroken you won't help. So cruel. Madison's teacher asked about the cupcakes. Cupcakes. As if sugar could outweigh my daughter's life. I made a choice I should have made years ago. I blocked them, Mom, Dad, my sister. One by one, their digital grip vanished. For the first time, their relentless demands went silent. Daisy sighed softly in her sleep, a tiny miracle, like the universe whispering hope. I took her hand, careful of the tubes. I'm here, I whispered. Always, only for you. That was all that mattered. That was all that ever would. They might have lost me, but Daisy would always know I chose her no matter what. The night dragged on in that endless hospital glow. I stayed glued to Daisy's side, watching her chest rise and fall with the ventilator, each breath a prayer. At 3 a.m., I stood to stretch, my body aching, my mind raw from reliving the crash, their hateful texts. But my phone was quiet. Blocking them had changed the air, made it easier to breathe without their weight crushing me. I grabbed a water from the vending machine, fighting the guilt they drilled into me. You're selfish. You ruin everything. But I wasn't. I was a mother fighting for her child, stronger than their guilt. Back in the room, Nia adjusted Daisy's monitors. Stable so far, she said, her smile kind. I nodded, swallowing tears. Then a social worker entered, cautious, clutching a clipboard. Miss Martin, she asked softly. I braced myself for more bad news. Your parents and sister are demanding to see Daisy, she said carefully. They're causing a scene in the lobby. We wanted to check with you first. Cold certainty surged through me. No, I said firmly. They're not allowed in. Daisy doesn't need their stress. She nodded, but her eyes held a quiet question. I sighed, trembling. They don't think she matters. They wanted me to bake cupcakes for another kid's party while she's on life support. The social worker's face fell, horrified. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I nodded, exhausted. Just keep them away, I said. She made a note, squeezed my shoulder, and left. I turned to Daisy, her fingers twitching faintly in mine, like she was reaching for me. We're okay, I promised, a fierce resolve growing. We don't need them. We never did. And for the first time since the crash, I believed it. Morning light filtered through the hospital windows, pale and thin. I hadn't slept, but my mind felt sharper than it had in years. My family's words echoed. Moms, you ruin everything. My sister's kids get hurt all the time. Dad, your niece's party matters more. They've been carved into me since childhood, but now I was ripping them out. Daisy stirred, her eyelids fluttering, lips parting in a half-dream. I leaned forward, nearly tipping my chair. Baby, I whispered, praying. Mama's here. She didn't wake, but her heart monitor strengthened. I clung to that, letting it fill me like air. Stay with me, I begged silently. I'll protect you from everyone, even them. A soft knock. Nia entered, smiling gently. I told security to keep your family out, she said. They were angry, but they left. Relief washed over me. Thank you, I breathed. She adjusted Daisy's lines, then gave me a sad, searching look. Families can be complicated, she said carefully. I laughed, too sharp for the quiet room. That's one way to put it. She hesitated, then shared. My mom was like that. It took me years to set boundaries. Something in me softened. It feels wrong, doesn't it? I asked. Choosing your kid over them? Her eyes warmed with understanding. It only feels wrong because they taught you it was. Tears burned. They taught me too well. Nia squeezed my hand. They did. But you can unlearn it for her. I looked at Daisy, her face finally calm, the machines keeping her heart's rhythm. For her, every boundary, every slammed door, every no was for Daisy, so she'd grow up knowing she was enough, safe, loved. Nia left, and I kissed Daisy's temple, whispering, You'll have a better life than I did. I swear it. The day dragged, marked by nurses checking vitals and the ache in my back from the stiff chair. I stayed by Daisy, heart lurching at every offbeat beep. I prayed to every force, every hope that she'd pull through. I braced for my family to barge in, but they didn't. Instead, voicemails piled up, their words cutting even through the screen. How dare you block us? You're humiliating us. Always making a spectacle. A spectacle, as if holding my daughter's hand was a performance. I scrolled through their recycled insults, feeling stronger with each one. They couldn't control me anymore. I could choose Daisy and no one could stop me. Mid-afternoon, the doctor knocked softly and entered, his face calm but with a hint of warmth. Miss Martin, he said. Daisy's starting to breathe on her own. We might wean her off the ventilator tonight. My knees nearly gave out. She's improving? I choked. He nodded, a small smile breaking through. She's a fighter, your girl. I collapsed into the chair, sobbing, not from fear, but relief. I leaned against Daisy's shoulder, tears soaking her blanket. You're so strong, I whispered. I'm so proud. She was teaching me strength, real strength, not bending to other scripts, but living, fighting, surviving. In the window's reflection, I saw myself, exhausted, but with a fire I hadn't known in years. A mother who'd burn the world to save her child. And I would, no matter their voicemails, their lies, their judgment. They could keep their parties and facades. I'd keep Daisy and my peace, worth more than all their fake apologies and cupcakes. Night fell, blue shadows stretching across the floor. Daisy's breathing grew stronger, the ventilator settings lowered, her lungs taking over. The nurse explained gently, hope in her voice. She's fighting back. I nodded, voiceless from tears, my shoulders easing. This was everything. I held Daisy's hand, reflecting on every overshadowed birthday. Every time they called my emotions dramatic. Every time I played mom to their kids to keep their perfect lives intact. No more. Their messages slowed, each one a desperate grab at my resolve. We'll never forgive you. You chose wrong, but they were wrong. I hadn't abandoned anyone. I'd chosen the one who needed me, who loved me without conditions. I chose Daisy. The nurse dimmed the lights, urging me to rest. She's stable, she said kindly. We'll watch her. But I shook my head. I'd spent too long stepping away from those who needed me to appease those who didn't. I'll stay, I said. She'll see me when she wakes. The nurse smiled, respect in her eyes. We'll get you a pillow. Alone. I curled up, Daisy's hand in mine, our fingers entwined like roots healing after a storm. My phone stayed silent, notifications off, their world irrelevant. Morning came, and Daisy's eyes fluttered open, blurry but bright, her hoarse voice whispering, Mama. My heart broke and mended in one breath. I'm here, I whispered, tears blurring my vision. Mama's always here. I'd chosen what mattered us. No one, not Mom, Dad, or my sister, could take that away. I kissed Daisy's forehead, breathing in her fragile, living scent. This was my fight, my reason for burning bridges and slamming doors. It wasn't selfish. It wasn't drama. It was love, true, unbreakable love. And for the first time, I felt free.